Hey, Gateway Alliance Church. My name is Mitch, and I'm one of the pastors here at Gateway Alliance Church. And I just wanted to tell you what the point is of these Common Ground videos. You see, I think when we give sermons, we want to draw people closer to God and help in deepening their experience with Him and their intimacy with Jesus. But it's been a couple of days since Sunday. These Common Ground videos hopefully spark something in your memory or give you time to process what was said on the sermon that might have been forgotten, or that God might want to speak to you on a Friday or Thursday after He's given you time to think about the scripture that was preached on Sunday. We're hoping through these Common Ground videos that it would be beneficial to you, that it would help in creating a more intimate relationship with Jesus and more time of devotional with Him. These are just some of the thoughts that the staff team, the pastors and the worship leader have come together to just remind ourselves of the sermon that was preached on Sunday and just talk through some of the issues or some of the highlights that stuck out to us. Well, with that being said, here's your Common Grounds video.
Hey Gateway, coming to you with this week's Common Grounds, talking about Pastor Joe's sermon from last week about Judge Ehud, and talking about continual sin. I brought my notebook to remember the notes I took during the service last week.
Yeah, I think sin is always a fun topic.
Oh yeah.
I think it's always something that we enjoy to talk about. Especially when you're the one speaking against people. I know we walked through Jonah before we got here, and it's easy to criticize him for being a man that was called to call people out of sin. But I think when we get to that point of our own selves, we realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
You know. And through this chapter this week with Ehud, we learned of Israel being held captive because of their sin and how God brought up a people to punish them. And we also learned how quick God can forgive and how quick God can deliver, and how quick He can provide us with peace if we choose to be obedient.
And I think one of the things that stuck out with me with continual sin is, of course, there's the bigger things that it's easier to point out, but I think it's the smaller continual sins that are easier just to sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Joe and Mitch this morning about how I'm so good at being so busy and not making time for God. It's like, well, I've got all these things to do on my to-do list, so like I don't have time to stop and pray today. And that may not seem like a big deal in the moment, but like that's continual sin of not making time for God and letting my business get in the way. And I know one of the things that you quoted during your sermon was like, sin wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't enjoyable. And I think about that as like, well, being busy is not enjoyable, but I enjoy checking things off my to-do list and getting that all done. So even those small things of just like being busy throughout your day, like that's continual sin as well.
Yeah. And this week a band that I listen to, they're called Judah and the Lion. They put out an album and there's a song on it that's called Scream. And they talk about just that, about how we're surprised that we see people screaming on the internet. We're surprised that we see people screaming on Facebook or screaming in the mirror that they're just not good enough. But it's all because we fill ourselves with these hopes of busyness, these hopes of this is what the world is all about, with hopes that it's all about death and taxes. So yeah, why wouldn't we be screaming? Why wouldn't we be going crazy? Because we're missing the point a lot of the times. We miss the point that God is what it's all about. And that may be that cliche answer, that may be that Sunday school answer, but really...
That's the heart of it.
Yeah. So I think that while we walk through this, and as I preached and as God spoke to me during that time, this week it's just a thought process of is God serious enough to me that I'm going to be willing to stop those things. I'm going to be willing that it does bother me, that I am taking Him serious. I think that's the question that I learned from it, that I have to ask myself is, do I treat Him as He is holy, as He is God of everything? Does that change the hard areas of my life?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I was going to have a response to that one, but That was just a good point, Jen.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, life is hard, and I think that that's what we're trying to get at as a team, is that life is hard, and it's hard for us.
I know, like, before I started working for the church, like, I was always like, oh, the pastors, like, they're this celebrity level person. But now working for the church, it's like, yeah, no, we're just people.
Yeah.
Who struggle just as much as everyone else. And I mean, we're here to try to be a guidance for everyone else, but we struggle too, and like, we look for mentors and people who can pour into us as well. And that's important as we go through life and try to figure it out, to have someone who you can talk to and bounce things off.
Yeah, that wasn't one of my points in the sermon, but it
But-
should have been.
Yeah.
That who do you have? People laugh at me all the time because I have people that they, if there's something that I do stupid in my marriage, that Jenna can go to. And same thing with my walk with Christ. If there's something I do stupid, there's someone that will speak to me, that will call me out on my dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's important to have
yeah.
that someone who's keeping you in line, or not keeping you in line, but like, what's the word for? They like check you.
Yeah, and that you know that they love you
Yeah.
through it. Like, it's not them just being a jerk, but it's they love you through it.
Like, hey, I see you're going down the wrong path. Like, let's get you back on the right track and
Yeah,
help you out.
yeah. One thing I did say this week at our church's softball league was that not only does it matter that we love people as we talk about these tough things, but we have to choose as the recipient to choose to love them through that too, even though they're speaking hard things to us. It goes both ways. We get to choose if we're offended or not. We get to choose those things. So, yeah, I think we jumped all over the place.
Yeah, we did. Today was a jumping conversation, but all good things.
Yeah. So if you don't want us to jump all over the place,
give us questions. Would you please send us questions after the sermon this week? Like, email us. There's a message space on the app. You can message us. Commented on the sermon, we can answer them. Like on the live stream, commented.
Yeah, I have to say that Mitch and I both have had several side conversations with people from our Jonah series that no one asked us during those. So those would be great conversations that
For us
we'd
to
love to
like
talk about.
open up now, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard now while we're in a new series to talk about that in Common Ground. So
Send us questions.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Bye.